it's this is going to be about my journey so far. So I never planned it. I never thought I would ever live in India. It was the last place on this earth that I imagined that I would live. I decided to share my journey with the community of YouTube and hope that you get inspired and that you may also end up somewhere that you've always wanted to live. I took off from Australia with the plan to do yoga teacher training, and then I landed in Delhi. And course, a group of us, about 6 of us, decided to go do a 4-day trek in 3 days. So we meant the second day was going to be shitload longer than the rest of them. But the thing I loved about it was just the bonding that we had together as well. Like, it just cemented like the friendships that I made with these people. And I can honestly say that I loved it, but I'd never do it again. I am not a hiker, okay? I leave that for the professionals because it ain't me, but I'm so glad to have trekked, like, and can say that I climbed, you know, the Himalayas. When I got back, I still felt like I couldn't leave. Basically what happened was I ended up staying, put my ticket on hold, and just stayed in Rishikesh. The next morning, I thought it was the worst decision I'd ever made, like seriously worst decision. And then I just basically got involved with the community, and because I was involved with the animals, that's where I started. So the animals became a part of my daily life, like along with all the other routines that I'd put in place since being in Rishikesh. Okay, so after I decided that I was going to stay, and it was damn scary, let me tell you, I gave up my job. I told my family to pack up all my stuff and just give it away, like anything that wasn't worthwhile. And I kind of had the intention to stay in Rishikesh indefinitely. That's what I did. And then I think it was only 2 days later, along came Rishi. So Rishi was this gorgeous little puppy. He couldn't even like go to the toilet properly. It was a real hard case. And I just kept him in my jacket for 2 weeks straight, other than when we slept, which of course he slept with me. I watched him grow. I watched him, he became like part of the community. People really loved him. I worked with a company that was coming over from Siberia. It was a volunteer service, and it was to sterilize as many dogs as they could in Rishikesh in a short amount of time. So that's what we did. We got a group of volunteers and we basically neutered as many dogs as we could and one cat. After the dogs, I was like, okay, I really kind of like living here, but money was starting to already become a problem, like not earning any money. And I just kind of, got that fear that I would, end up homeless or not be able to get back to Australia. I went into a little bit of a panic, I'll admit, because I wanted to bring Rishi back to Australia with me. And the process took a lot to get the information and making decisions and whether it was possible. And every time it came back to me, it was literally not possible. It was just like, holy fuck, what am I going to do? At this stage, my 6-month visa was coming up, so I needed to go and extend my visa. So I did, and I went to Thailand. And Thailand was so amazing as well, because I went with a really dear friend that I met. So we went and did our visa runs together in Thailand. Now, for those that don't know, a visa run is when you have a visa in a country, but you still want to live there, and you need to get a new one, and you don't want to go back to your own country. Did that make sense? I think so. I hope so. I think I'm probably going to put the Thailand pictures or the journey in maybe a separate video as well, where I talk about my yoga journey more. Thank you, universe, once again. There was someone wanting to meet me. Turns out she wanted to adopt a dog, didn't have a dog. I had a dog. So there it was, Rishi. In Australia, I got offered a job, which under my circumstances at the time, I was like, yep, this is what I meant. I can't stay. I'm like starting to get panicky about not having any money and being able to survive here, not, all this kind of thing. So the usual monkey brain shit that goes on. So I had Rishi sorted. I had everything done. Even though I was like wanting to stay, something also didn't feel right about staying. And I remember sitting one day by the Ganga, and it was as clear as day, like this voice just came like so strong and just said, it's time to leave. It was as that clear as someone telling me in person. Actually, from the time I got back to Australia, I kind of regretted leaving India. But all I would see is India, and of course the dogs and the cows. So I decided then and there that I was saving up and I was going to go somehow get back to India, and that I had a goal to open my own animal center. So this is actually where I'm going to leave the journey so far. And my next part of the journey will be how I ended up back in India and why I'm still here after 5 years, and how I've done it. Subscribe below if you want to see more of my journey and what's in store for this channel. And remember, fear is just an illusion of the mind. See you later. Bye.